Moses Alexander. Shabbat for three. Bingo!
Getty will get it for the win. Got it! He is hard to believe.
Here's Jordan.
Yes! The Magic, a 360 turn with the dribble. Magic down the middle. Gives underneath to Worthy. Slam dunk.
Third in the corner. Double fake.
What's going on, guys? Welcome to the final recap of the 2021-2022 season here on Dime Dropper. The NBA Finals have just concluded. The Golden State Warriors are our 2022 champions. Before we get started, though, please make sure to subscribe on YouTube at Dime Dropper Podcast, Apple Podcasts, follow us on Spotify, and of course, to follow us on all social media platforms at Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok at Dime Dropper Pod. So just because it is the last recap does not mean we are going anywhere. I have a lot of content planned for the summer, but we can get into that after we talk about the game, the final game of the season, of season 2 of Dime Dropper of the 2021-22 season, a season in which we got fans back from the beginning, courtside, no restrictions, at least no restrictions, major ones that you can see from watching the game on TV or being at the games that I was at many this season. But it was, a little bit of getting back to normal life and normal scenes of stadiums and fans that we're used to our whole lives. So it was a fun season, much better than 2021. Bias aside with my Clippers going far. But let's get right into the game. The Golden State Warriors, I picked the Celtics to win this game, but I had some kind of feeling all day, guys, that the Warriors, there was something in the air. It felt like the Warriors were just going to end it tonight. You heard Steve Kerr in the locker room. They got that soundbite after the last game saying that they're going to end it in Boston with confidence. It's a sign of a team to me that's been there. Scenes of, when Magic said, actually, I don't know if it was Magic. I think it was Jordan in 93 said, I only brought one suit to Phoenix because we're not playing a game 7. And, it felt like that kind of vibe. They've been there, done that. But this was special. Let's get right into it. It was actually the Celtics that came out with the energy, with the intensity, and just with that first punch. And Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown were leading the way in these first couple of minutes. They were moving the ball well. Jason Tatum had a really nice relocation 3. And Jaylen Brown also hit a 3. And that was cool to see Jason Tatum relocate off the ball because he doesn't really do that. He's pretty stagnant off the ball, and he would be stagnant off the ball as the game continued. The Celtics went up 14-2, and then after that, it was a completely different ball game. In the beginning, the way they were getting some of this ball movement was because they were trying to go at Steph Curry in the post with Marcus Smart. And a couple of times he got some good stuff in the beginning. But overall, Marcus Smart today didn't really play basketball, in my opinion. He was constantly, and I mean, when we talk about Draymond Green, like in game 2 or, I think it was game 2, everybody talked about he wasn't even playing basketball. Marcus Smart was not playing basketball tonight. Not that much good stuff on the ball, a bunch of screens, and he was really trying to make an impact screen setting, but just a bunch of holding, pushing, extensions, trying to flop, trying to put pressure on the refs, but really just not even trying to put pressure on the refs, trying to play the refs, trying to, stop playing the refs, play the game. And Marcus Smart, I thought mentally he just did not look himself. He looked like he crumbled and just was in his own head and doing a bunch of nonsense. He was not the Marcus Smart that we've seen, the good Marcus Smart that we've seen so much throughout these playoffs and in the season. And, he hopefully for if you're a Celtics fan, you'll think that he'll learn from this, even though he's the most experienced one of the team. But he's never been to the finals before. He was very close. The Celtics were very close, 2 games away. And hopefully he'll learn from that. But the Warriors weathered the storm very easily. Obviously, a 12-point lead in today's NBA is nothing, but Kevon Looney, Gary Payton II came in and did their thing. Kevon Looney on the offensive glass, Gary Payton playing defense. And, I thought that Jason Tatum, after that relocation three, he really, to me, I know this sounds harsh, but he didn't really do much right the rest of the game. He was dribbling way too much. He was extremely indecisive. You could tell he was in his own head. He was settling to me. And I remember at one point, his stats were like 11 points, 5 for 9, but it did not feel like he was playing like that. That stat line doesn't do anything for me. He wasn't very aggressive. And when he was, Wiggins has done such an incredible job on him all series. I think it's not even, I usually don't say these kind of things, but he got locked up by Wiggins, like for real, throughout the whole series. He didn't have one great game. He oftentimes gets downhill, and I don't really like his counters. It's kind of predictable, and he gets away with it because he has so much size, but Wiggins has similar size. He's a little bit shorter, but he's got those long arms, and he's physical, he's strong, and he's good laterally, and he clearly has been watching tape and knows Tatum's tendencies. At this point, everybody knows each other, and that's what makes 7-game series in sports so unique. These guys know each other, and they're having played with each other and having played against each other for multiple games with so much film and adjustments. It's like, it's just a battle. You know what I'm saying? And Jason Tatum, for example, I was watching the game with some of my boys today that have been on the podcast. My boys Will Johnson and Asher. We were watching the game, and we noticed that Tatum when he's going downhill on the fast break, he's going to that Euro step. And Draymond Green did a really good job today. There was one time where he just guessed it, and obviously Draymond Green is one of the best defenders of all time, and he had a fantastic game tonight. Don't think I'm going to forget about his performance because I've given him a lot of shit throughout this series, and hey, man, I can't talk shit about the podcaster anymore. He's going to go make his victory podcast now, and he's earned it. But Jason Tatum, everyone knows he's going to do that Euro step. And also his legs just kind of look gone. He couldn't really elevate off the ground much when he got to the basket. He was missing chippies when he did get to the rim. And I think that was discouraging him a little bit. Also, obviously the refs have not been calling too many things throughout the series. And I thought the Celtics were going to get a very favorable whistle tonight. But to be honest, it didn't seem like they even put themselves in a position to get a favorable whistle. And Jason Tatum, I just thought he also didn't look mentally right from the beginning. It looked like they just gotten to him. It's like Wiggins was sitting on all his moves. And I think that when it comes to going downhill, Jason Tatum is going to need to diversify his attack going forward to take that next step as a player. I think he's very dependent on ball pounding behind the three-point line with everybody staring at him, high pick and roll or isolation. If he wants to be Kobe so bad, go watch some tape and see how Kobe beat teams when he won championships. Mid-post, fighting for post position off the ball, moving more without the ball, not just ball pounding at the top so much. Stop wasting so much movement. You're blessed with that size. Get to the spots, embrace your dribble pull-up. There was so many times today where he had space for a mid-range pull-up and he didn't take it. And then the times that he did, it just looked a little like off. He didn't look confident in it. And, Kobe Bryant will tell you all the time that it's all about the mid-range. Mid-range is what wins chips. And I think the Celtics, outside of Jaylen Brown, severely lack that in their attack. And I think that's part of the reason why when their three ball's not falling, their offense looked clunky and ISO heavy and stagnant plenty of times throughout the playoffs. And we've been talking about this for years now. So I think Jason Tatum can still win the championship. They can still win the championship playing this way. But I think Tatum's going to have to improve in the little things one-on-one to just make himself unstoppable, even by the best defenders in the league. Because Wiggins is one of those. And it's so funny. Sorry, guys. For the people that are watching on the freaking live chat, and appreciate everybody that's here. My nose is just itchy. That's why I keep doing that. But appreciate it. 18 people in the live. Shout out to everybody. Congratulations to the Warriors fans. Sorry, moving kind of slow. I want to be very thorough tonight since it's the last one. God damn, my nose is itchy. Oh, my God. All right. So basically, guys, the Warriors started out with a 27-22 lead after all that in the first. And Steph Curry started, don't think I'm forgetting about him. He was making some great cross-court passes. He got to the rim a couple times. And there was one time I think he had the Time Lord on him. And this is in the first quarter. Time Lord on him, top of the key. Doesn't settle, doesn't try to dance and just create separation for that three ball, which he does so much sometimes. He just got right by him, got to the rim, got in front of him and used his body to shield and finished. And it was very impressive. And then there was a relocation three, the classic Steph pass and relocate for a three. It looked like it could have been a foul in the right corner. It was Splash Mountain. And the Warriors went on a 21-0 run from the end of the first quarter to the beginning of the second quarter. And you started to see the Celtics fall into their bad habits yet again, turning the ball over constantly. Jaylen Brown, especially loosey-goosey with his handle. He, as much as he's improved his handle since he came into the league, he needs a lot of work in that department if he wants to take that next step, not only as a scorer, but just for them to win a championship with this duo and the help that they have around them, saying they don't get another star or anything like that. And I don't think they need another star. I think they just got to make improvements to their game. They're young, and they'll be back for many years to come. Maybe they don't get it next year. They're going to compete, but just keep believing because I think they can get it. It's just a 24-year-old winning the championship is very hard. And that's so funny. I told my friends that too at UMass. I told my friends, and I was doubting myself for a second. I switched up on myself. I should have had more faith in my take. I said that the Celtics were not there yet. They still need a little bit more time just to win it. I said they could get there, but winning it is a whole different ballgame, and it truly is because, historically, you have to go through a gauntlet, a team that had been there and knocked somebody off the throne. Even though the Warriors had kind of been knocked off their throne through various things, they still have kind of owned this last 7-8 years of basketball. So the Celtics, it really did feel like a kind of dethroning if they had won in ways, but shout out to the Warriors, the experience and the talent as well. They have revamped talent with Wiggins and Poole, and they have a lot of young talent as well. But I just think that having been there, done it, having the best player in the series was what won out for Golden State. But second quarter, as I said, they went up 47-32, the Warriors. That's when you started hearing the boos from the Celtic fans. Marcus Smart continuing to play ridiculous basketball. He was in foul trouble, had 3 fouls in that first half. And Jordan Poole came in and started eating, hit a bank three, got downhill a couple times, but mostly just creating space for jumpers. And the Celtics just looked defeated. And I tweeted out that it just looked like the Warriors it felt like a championship night tonight. It just felt like the trophy was going to be presented. That when I saw Steph on the sideline celebrating in the second quarter, I felt it. And I saw those Warriors fans around their bench that had either traveled or just Warriors fans around that area celebrating. I could just feel it in the crowd booing. It looked like Jason Tatum, because it's all about your best player. I always say that. It starts from the top. And Jason Tatum just didn't look himself tonight. Maybe he's still struggling with that injury. At this point, everyone's had injuries. So there's no excuse. Jason Tatum. But I think people are being very harsh on him, though. Like, people are all of a sudden like, oh, people say he's not a superstar. That's all dependent on what your definition of a superstar is. For me, he is. I think it's very hard to lead a team to the championship any era. And plus, he played in the superior conference. I know the Warriors are the team that came out victorious, but the East was the better conference this year. Jason Tatum is a 24-year-old leading his team as the consensus best player. I think he's the best player. Jaylen Brown had the better final series in which they lost. Big fucking whoop. Yeah, like that's not. Jason Tatum won the Larry Bird Eastern Conference MVP trophy. He was definitely the best player in the first 2 rounds. He's the man of this team. He's the franchise player. He's the face of the franchise, and he got his team to the finals. James Harden has never led his team to the championship. I know, by the way, I know I'm not contextualizing, but I'm just saying James Harden has never led his team to the championship as the best player. We've never seen Paul George lead his team to the championship as the best player. Carmelo Anthony, Tracy McGrady. So a lot of players, I could just keep going on. Jason Tatum has done that. So that's just, I'm not giving out participation trophies, but I'm just saying that that's not easy to do. And he will be back, and he's only 24 years old. So, but tonight he just didn't have it. He just didn't have it. He was looking, every time he would try to go drive, his only counter was to try to just lower the shoulder to try to bump and create separation, but he was losing the handle. And it's tough when you're going into the brick walls of Kevon Looney's or Andrew Wiggins. And even when he had Steph Curry on him throughout this series on switches, Steph really did a good job of holding his own. We know about Steph and how much work he's put in defensively, whether it be in the weight room or just laterally, just always been, and he's become a smarter defender as well. He's clearly taken pride in that. And Jeff Van Gundy always says it in the telecast that if you care about winning, you'll get better at defense if that's a weakness for you. And that was a weakness for Steph. And now I think he's a solid defender. And the fact that Jason Tatum couldn't take advantage of him is obviously, you got to give Steph credit, but it's also it is a little bit of it's ridiculous. Like Jason Tatum needs to work on taking advantage of his size, getting in the low post, not committing ridiculous offensive fouls, going up strong, and not just trying to play to get a call. Go up strong and make the refs react to you. Don't react to the refs. And that's something that comes with time and experience. I think Marcus Smart's not the best role model for him, though, playing alongside him. I'll tell you that much. But another reason why the Celtics did not win the series. And, of course, tonight it came back to bite them, even though the numbers might not suggest it fully. But rebounds. No rebounds, no rings. The Warriors won the glass battle by 3, 44-41. But the offensive rebound battle, both teams got a good amount, but 15-11 in favor of the Warriors. 15 offensive rebounds is a lot. I know there's a lot of long misses in today's NBA, but that is a lot. And then 22 turnovers. That was the main thing we talked about, guys, here, Dime Dropper fam. And everyone's been talking about all series long that the Celtics could not do. 22 turnovers. That's not going to win you a game against this caliber of opposition. And here's the funny part. Like, I always say, when you give teams like the Warriors and you do dumb shit or give them second chance opportunities, the best teams make you pay. Second quarter, there was a play where Draymond got an offensive rebound, kicked it out to Jordan Poole, 3-ball, made him pay. Also, Kevon Looney, 2 offensive rebounds over Rob Williams. Both of them friendly bounces. Unfortunate for Rob. But, man, you got to get your full body on him. Get low and don't just stand there and just do a jumping contest. Get low and take his angle away. Don't let him explode. Come on now, fundamentals. But 21-0 run from the 2:20, 2 minutes and 20-second mark in the first quarter to the second before JB hits a 3 and ends it after a timeout. But same story overall as I talked about for the Celtics in the first half. Too much ball pounding. I thought Jaylen Brown, though, was actually playing the best for Boston in terms of providing offense. But 54-39 going into the half. And the third quarter, guys, was not much better. You saw in the beginning, Udoka tried to blitz Steph Curry. They put Wiggins in the pick and roll. He instantly was in the 4-on-3 read situation, kicked it out to Otto Porter, who again started tonight, not Kevon Looney. So for the third straight game, he started. And look, that ended up being an adjustment that worked and won the series. I think they went 3-0 with Otto Porter starting every time. So shout out to Steve Kerr. Again, in my opinion, his most impressive coaching job of them all. But we'll get into all the giving the Warriors flowers at the end, even though I've given them some in this. But by the way, shout out to everybody in the comment section on the YouTube live. I appreciate you guys all season. Don't worry, I'm going to be giving you guys your time tonight. But second half, ladies and gentlemen, the last half of a recap of the season, of season 2. Third quarter Warriors or third quarter Celtics? What are we going to get? Obviously, third quarter Celtics isn't really a thing, but third quarter Warriors damn sure is. However, what game was it where we got some third quarter Celtics? I think it was game 5. Yeah, it was last game. But so they blitz, they make Otto Porter makes them pay. And Draymond Green, I thought he was just making plays all over the place on both ends of the floor. His help defense was fantastic. So, like, even in the situations where Tatum will have Steph or even Steph will be guarding Horford, they're so ready to help all the time. Draymond Green, Kevon Looney, Andrew Wiggins, they're very in sync. The rotations are good. And Draymond Green is just one of the best rotators, help defenders I've ever seen. And he was making plays, too, pushing the ball a lot, making the defense collapse. And part of that is because he was finally hitting his jumper. Honestly, there were shades of 2015. He hit 2 threes and an 18-foot mid-range. It was a sight to behold. 2 for 5 from deep for Draymond and 5 for 10 from the field. It was just unbelievable. And obviously his screening and passing and screening and the quick decisions he makes and that connection he has with Klay and Steph to try to free him up is phenomenal. There was one play where Steph made him pay on that kind of action, or make the Celtics pay with Marcus Smart, lull him to sleep off the ball, came off a little Draymond dribble handoff, stepped into a 3. And then after that, with more By the way, down by 19 points. The Warriors are starting out the third quarter well, and the Celtics still can't score. Jason Tatum still nowhere to be found. Marcus Smart down 19, gets a pass, the first pass, and chucks a three. And on the other end, what did I say? When you do dumb shit, Marcus Smart, freaking oxymoron right there in the name, you pay. And Steph Curry pulled from 30 feet and just drained. And then the Warriors are up 22. Steph Curry pointed to his finger to say, there's a ring coming on this thing tonight, the fourth one. Or not tonight, but in October, because he knew it. And Steph was not going to be denied. You could just tell his presence. He was the best player in the series by a landslide. He's arguably the best player in the world. He just showed up to all the critics. He silenced them. I'm going to get into his, I don't want to get into the flowers just yet, but it's almost like hard to resist because it's just spectacular. Went up by 22, no rebounds, no rings. Again, same thing we've talked about all series, all playoffs. The winner of the rebounding battle wins most games. The Celtics, a couple times, just second chance opportunities to guys like Wiggins, Looney, and Draymond Green, and Andrew Wiggins getting tips and everything like that. But one bright spot for the Celtics was Al Horford in the second half. He was really good. He was hitting a bunch of threes. He got an and one that cut the deficit down to 9, and they were really going at Jordan Poole. So that got the Celtics just a little bit of momentum going into the fourth. They outscored the Warriors 27-22 in the third quarter, which gave them some momentum going into the fourth. And they were actually able to cut the deficit down to 8. I thought Jaylen Brown was actually really solid tonight, despite the turnovers, and he had a lot of them, too many. But he at least gave them the scoring punch that they needed with 34 points on 12 for 23 shooting and 5 for 11 from deep. But the Celtics only shot 12 free throws, and the Warriors only shot 8 free throws. So the refs just didn't call much, but 12 free throws is not much. And the Celtics also a big problem for them. So I'm going to get into the fourth quarter now, but the problem for them as well is their depth let them down. They didn't really have much. Derek White, his lack of shot making it just couldn't keep him on. It cost him staying on the floor. You know, he played 16 minutes, and I even said that there was a leash too big for him at one point. 2 points, 1 for 6, 0 for 2 from 3. His 3-point shooting was just way too bad. I don't even want to say inconsistent. It just wasn't good in these playoffs. And his offense just he did the right things for the most part, and he competed, made the right plays, but they needed a little bit more of a scoring boost consistently. They didn't get that. Peyton Pritchard, he played 8 minutes, was 0 for 2, but it's just tough. You know, he's young, and he only played first-round basketball last year. Now he's in the finals. So it's pretty tough. It's like a Jordan Farmar. It reminds me of Jordan Farmar in 2008, honestly. And then Grant Williams, I guess he was so important for them all playoffs long. He had such a great postseason. His 3-point shooting just changed his game. But I guess he just couldn't make enough shots to stay on the floor enough, and he lost his rhythm, it seemed, in this series. He just wasn't impactful and didn't get many minutes, and maybe that's something Udoka will look back and say, maybe I should have given him more minutes, or, man, maybe it was the right decision, and he just wasn't hitting shots. 3 points for him, 1 for 2 from the field. But the fourth quarter, the Celtics cut it down to 8 with JB hitting a corner 3. I think it was 78-86. But one thing, an adjustment that the Celtics made in the fourth, they just switched everything. And the matchup that the Warriors wanted was Al Horford guarding Steph Curry. And remember when I said that Steph Curry doesn't get very many clean looks in the fourth quarter against the lead opposition, highest level of comp? Well, he did tonight because he blew by Marcus Smart. He blew by Al Horford twice. He scored 3 shots in the paint, which is, for my opinion, I'd have to look at the stats, but it's rare in the playoffs. I see Steph Curry in the Final Four level getting 3 layups, 2 of them uncontested in the fourth quarter like that in a half-court set. The help defense was not there, but it was just, you can't say enough about the guy, right? Can't say enough about it. The Celtics just, I think they needed some Tatum and didn't get any Tatum. Continued to turn the ball over, miss shots, long, short, looked gassed, looked out of it, just mentally. It's all about the mental toughness at this stage. It's the war of attrition, and the Warriors have been there. They're battle tested, and you can see it. As well as Jaylen Brown played, he turned the ball over too much. Jason Tatum, he had a terrible series, man. And, he's still one of the best players in the league, top 10, easy for me. But he had a terrible series. But it's okay. They won 2 games. Terrible, maybe even be harsh. He didn't have a great series. Didn't play very well. But he still, made an impact in the games that they won. They still got here. They still he outplayed Kevin Durant for a full series, 4 games, guarded him for a lot of it. Game 6 against Giannis, that won't be remembered the same way anymore. On the road, under elimination, facing elimination, destroying, and then in game 7, leading them to victory, and then obviously against Miami, leading them to victory. So he had an amazing season, but they just ran out of gas. They're going to try. I think what they need is they need to get a bucket getter to come off the bench and give them some scoring relief. Just a bucket getter, maybe even a guy that can play in 15-minute spurts, just to give them some relief. And then they can work on their games and run it back. Run it back. The future is bright in Boston. They should use this as fuel, come back like the Phoenix Suns next year, and just not pull the Phoenix Suns in the playoffs. But it's not going to be easy, guys. And my Celtics fans, my Celtic followers out there, all my people back in Mass, I got to poke some fun, man. The championship drought, only 3 years, but it continues. It's time for you to face the facts. LA is the new king of sports, baby. And I'm just kidding. I'm not going to go that far. But I'm just saying that the times are changing. And it's Los Angeles, who will be celebrating titles very much. We got a banner ceremony coming up in September at SoFi Stadium, the most beautiful stadium in the world, which got accepted for a World Cup host stadium today, which was obvious. And, everyone knew it. And it's one of the intentions of why that stadium was built. And it's the home of the Super Bowl freaking champions, ladies and gentlemen. And next year, hopefully, if God is good and basketball gods are nice, which they so often aren't to people like myself, the LA Clippers will be celebrating their first championship ever, because God damn it, I am so tired of watching these other teams win championships. But the dagger was made by Andrew Wiggins in the corner from Steph Curry. Too many turnovers, too many offensive rebounds. The Golden State Warriors win the championship and win game 6, 103-90, to win their 4th championship in 8 years. Wow. That is not something I thought I'd be saying going into the season at all. I didn't think they'd win the championship going into the 2015 season either. But they proved me wrong then, and they proved me wrong again. Before I started podcasting, I made a statement that I don't think Steph Curry is going to lead a team to a championship ever again. And he made me look the fool. And mind you, I've always been a Steph fan. Like, I really respect him. He's one of the best to ever do it. He further solidified his not solidified, but further added to the resume tonight in spectacular fashion. And in my opinion, his most impressive ring yet. And this team's most impressive ring yet. I thought they were going to be I said they were going to be like a 6 seed, 5 seed. Everybody said if Clay comes back and looks decent, they'll be dangerous. I don't think many people outside of Warriors fans that are obviously going to ride with their squad and believe in their squad and always go with the optimistic approach for the most part. Most people did not think they were going to win the championship. I don't think any people thought they were going to make it to the championship this year. But the West was wide open, and we started to see very early on they were going to be contenders. But man, to actually come and win it with all the injuries that they had throughout the season, they had a great start to the season, but let's not forget, Draymond Green got injured, missed the All-Star game in a whole stretch. He comes back, Klay Thompson comes back, and then Draymond gets hurt. And then you have Steph Curry, who gets hurt by Marcus Smart. And I guess this is the revenge right there in the finals. Celtics losing to the Warriors. And by the way, another fun fact is that the Warriors became the second road team to celebrate a championship in Boston in the history of the NBA. The Celtics do not have that many finals losses. Only the 85 Lakers did that and celebrated the Boston Garden. That was very special for them. And it was very unique and different seeing, the Celtics have a curtain call at home on a losing effort and seeing another team celebrate on their home floor to win the championship. And Banner 18, we heard about in 2010, and it's going to have to wait a little bit longer for Celtics fans. But I still believe that in this decade, they will win a championship, and Jason Tatum will lead them to it with Jaylen Brown right by his side. As for the Warriors, you can't say enough. They put it all together. They grew with every round. The sign of great teams is to improve with each round, and they just caught stride. Remember, Steph Curry was coming off the bench to start these playoffs. He came off an injury. And for them to put it all together, Klay Thompson to look as good as he looked in these playoffs, maybe not an all-star level, but man, all-star on some nights. Andrew Wiggins, what about his story? First pick in the draft. Solid start to his career. Started to be labeled a bust. Drifting away on that 2018 team that made it to the playoffs. And after that, the Wolves just looked like they were going nowhere. Reinvents himself as a role player that makes the all-star team and has all-star impact in an NBA playoffs, in an NBA finals. His play increased with each round, guarding the best player in every round. He's a champion. He was the second best player on this team, clear as day. Throughout the season, you can make a case for Draymond in the regular season, but he only played 46 games. In the playoffs, Wiggins was consistent, the most consistent, second best player on the team. And then Draymond Green, he had his rough patches in the series. He had some terrible games, but ultimately he put it together with a great fourth quarter in Game 4, a very good Game 5, and a huge Game 6 to win his fourth championship. He's an all-time great himself and probably solidified his Hall of Fame status as the Warriors complete one of, for sure, the greatest trios in the history of the NBA. And a very special player leading that charge in Steph Curry with a very special coach in Steve Kerr, a top 15 coach, and I'd say it's earned now. This was his most impressive job. People were being ridiculous on Twitter all season to me, criticizing Kerr for not putting Steph Curry on the ball enough and, these lineup decisions. Ultimately, the goal was to keep everybody healthy enough to win the championship and to have those role players prepared for any situation that came their way. And damn it, they were. And obviously, he knows and Steph knows that Steph's going to be on the ball more in the playoffs. And he was ready for that, Steph Curry was, and they trusted each other. And it's very big for a coach to have a relationship with their best player, at least in my view of watching all-time great teams, the Pop Duncans, the Phil Kobe Jordans, the Russell Auerbachs, Riley Magic, all these different ways, all these different coaches and their best player. And Steph Curry and Steve Kerr seem to have an awesome relationship, and it shows. And trust the process. Stop taking this for granted, Warriors fans. Stop. This franchise, I remember when I was a freaking kid. I'm not even that old. When I was a freaking kid, this franchise was poverty. Poverty. Not that much different than my Clippers, except they had a championship with Rick Barry in the 70s. And the way that Peter Guber, Joe Lacob, Bob Myers have turned the franchise around, Steve Kerr, Steph, you can't do it without the players, but it starts from the top. You need an owner to put the vision together, and they've done a spectacular job. So congrats to the Warriors fans. 4 rings. Jeez, let's read the stat lines. Let's go to the Celtics first. I already talked about the bench guys. Derek White, 1 for 6, 2 points. Grant Williams, 1 for 2, 3 points. Peyton Pritchard, 0 for 2, a donut. Starters. Rob Williams, who I actually thought played really well, blocked a ton of shots. 10 points, 7 rebounds, 5 blocks, 4 for 8 from the field, 2 for 2 from the line. Al Horford, 19 and 14. I feel really bad for him. What a playoffs he had and a resurgence he had this season. I think he'll still be very good next season. I hope he stays healthy because he was so awesome for them, and I'm a big fan of his, always have been. 6 for 8 from the field and 4 for 5 from deep. A lot of that in the second half. 19 and 14 for him. Marcus Smart, I just thought it was an atrocious game. 9 assists, so maybe I was wrong about the ball handling comment in the beginning. Maybe I'd have to go back and watch the tape, even though I'm not gonna. He maybe play make more than I thought, but just wasn't very effective to me. A lot of bullshit, a lot of not playing the game. 9 points, 9 assists, 5 fouls, 4 for 12 from the field, 1 for 2 from 3. It's crazy he only shot 2 threes. And then Jaylen Brown, 34 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists, but 5 turnovers, just too much tunnel vision. That's something he's got to get better at. They know that he doesn't like going left. He jump passes too much, and, you got to work on his handle. 12 for 23 from the field, 5 for 11 from deep. And then Jason Tatum, I really thought he was going to have a great game. I looked so stupid in that space last night with Ricky G and Nat talking about Jason Tatum's going to have such a great game. 13 points, 3 rebounds, 7 assists, 5 turnovers, 6 for 18 from the field, and 1 for 4 from deep. Just had a tough final series, man. Tough. And he's going to learn. I don't think it's a blemish to his legacy. It's just like, I had Warriors in 7. It was tough. We'll see. If he doesn't win a championship, we'll look back on it in that way. But he's got a lot of years left, so be patient. And Celtics fans, don't panic. It's going to hurt, but you'll be back. 22 turnovers as a team. As for the Warriors, Gary Payton II, 20 minutes played, 6 points, 2 for 6 from the field, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, but 3 steals and a block, plus 18, the highest of any player. So he was impactful tonight. It was impactful, and even though he missed a while after that injury against the Grizzlies, he was big in various moments of these playoffs, and he earned his ring. Kevon Looney, a donut, 0 for 2, but had 7 rebounds and 6 offensive rebounds and played some good D, set some solid screens. Jordan Poole, another solid performance. He really ended the series well and overall had a really solid series. Game 2, he was great. Game 5, he was really good. Game 6, he was good. 15 points. And Game 4, he woke up as well. 15 points, 5 for 12 from the field, 3 for 8 from deep. And then the starters. Otto Porter only played 13 minutes tonight. He had 6 points. But the big 4, Draymond Green, 12 points, 12 rebounds, 4 of those offensive rebounds, 8 assists, 2 steals, and 2 blocks. He was phenomenal. His help defense was great. His leadership, ability to play make and push the ball and make plays, everything. 42 minutes played for him. Klay Thompson did not have a good game tonight. Game 6, Klay was not in effect. He was shooting a ton, but he did compete and he played D. And the Warrior defense was just phenomenal all series and all season. We talked about the Celtic defense, but the Warriors defense really what stood out. Their ability to switch everything and stay in front of the ball, and their best defenders, the Paytons, the Wiggins, and even Steph taking responsibility on that end. It was just something to behold, and just something to marvel at. Klay Thompson, even though he was not the same defensive player he was in the past, he really did get better towards the end and played some really solid defense. But 5 for 20 tonight, 2 for 8 from deep. He took some really bad shots, quick shots, but they're Klay shots. Hasn't seen a shot he doesn't like. And his post-game comments, and you can see how much it meant to him, and I feel so happy for him. Andrew Wiggins, 7 for 18 from the field, 4 for 9 from deep, though, tonight. He has not been shooting well from 3 in these playoffs, but he hit him tonight. I mean, you knew when Draymond was hitting jumpers, Wiggins was hitting threes, that it was just that kind of night for the Warriors, and that tonight was destined to be their night. 18 points, 6 boards, 5 assists, 4 steals, and 3 blocks. Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. In 44 minutes, so well-conditioned. And then speaking of well-conditioned, the Finals MVP, the trophy that's eluded him for so long. You can't tell him nothing now. Steph Curry, cemented with the greats, changed the game, Finals MVP, the best scoring point guard, in my opinion, that has ever lived. Just the best shooter we've ever seen. One of the better scorers we've seen. And just at his size, 6'3" or under, probably the best player to ever live. 34 points, 7 rebounds, 7 assists, 2 steals, and a block. 12 for 21 from the field, 6 for 11 from deep. 40 minutes played. He earned every bit of that Finals MVP. He won without KD again. No injuries you can complain about with Kyrie and Kevin Love missing it. He proved everyone wrong, including me. He earned it. There's nothing you can say. Congrats to the Warriors. I don't really like the Warriors that much, guys, but I appreciate the way that they play basketball. I think that Steph Curry is one of the greats. I know a lot of people are going to ask me, where does he rank all time and all this? And I just want to say something about that stuff. People are so caught up in this all-time stuff and, just propping up their favorite players and just making these comparisons. But I've grown to start to ignore people and just kind of just not feel a certain way about it when I see their opinions, because I know 95% of them just aren't educated enough on this topic of evaluating greats with proper context and knowing what they did. And it's not a knock. I'm not saying anything about Steph, but it's just like, I don't really respect your opinion. You're just propping up what you like. And obviously every list is emotional, but if you're going to make a list all time and say it with that kind of confidence, I don't know. I just think you should do your research, but maybe I just care too much about the game. But I just want to say I'm not going to get into all that where does Steph rank all time stuff, but if I had to guess, if you want to ask me, around that 11, around that 12, 13 range, and I'd probably say he's after Magic second best. If I consider him a point guard of all time, solidified for me. A lot of people had that beforehand. I'm not as easygoing. I still think that you can argue other players. 'Cause I'm never gonna just say you can't argue things when the players played 40 years apart and did different things and different circumstances. And I always like to hear people that obviously lived longer than me and have been around longer than me and saw players I didn't see in real time. So it's always good to learn and not always talk, but listen. But that's ironic coming from a guy who's spoken uninterrupted for 40 minutes. But he's all time, man. He's all time stuff. That trio is all time. But Steph Curry, he really won this ring without a clear-cut second option. It's Wiggins, but he really won without a clear-cut second option. So all that people stuff about Kevin Durant doing this and that, in terms of that conversation, who's better all time there? It's not a conversation to me. They played in the same era. So the greatest warrior of all time. It's been special to witness it. I just want a little piece of championship. I want the tears of joy, man. And Steph Curry crying tears of joy, man, that was touching. If you could see how much it meant to him. The Finals MVP that fools didn't really like. He was the best player on the 2015 team, and people didn't consider that because the Finals MVP wanted to be difficult and stupid and act like Steph didn't have a great Finals then. But he had the best Finals he's ever had right here. What can you say? Celtics will be back. Warriors will be back. I will be back. But I want to say before we go to the live subscribers, by the way, 27 points off turnovers, I believe, for the Warriors against the Celtics. So I want to say, though, before I go to the live subscribers, from the bottom of my heart, guys, I want to thank you for all the episodes you guys listened to, for all the lives you attended, for the comments that you gave and made, and the support that you gave me. It's been tougher this year. The algorithms weren't nice to us after last summer. I didn't make as many videos. I experimented with like a baseball vlog and talking about soccer, one video, and the algorithms just kind of tanked me after the playoffs. And then this year, with Kawhi being out, a lot of people weren't as into the Clippers, and we weren't competing for a championship, and we knew that. And, the Lakers being such a disaster kept those people away. And I think a lot of people started to realize that rant that brought all you guys to me was not something I always do. I don't always rage and anger with eyes like I want to kill someone when my Clippers lose in the playoffs. I do get heartbroken. You can debate that I may care too much, but the anger that I had, the words I said about Paul George and various people in that video was just a semblance of a fan who was emotional. And it was a time in my life and time in everybody's life in the middle of COVID that we're looking for something to give us some hope, some joy. And that did not give me joy. And I just let out my emotions and, it caught wind and people resonated with that passion. And all you guys came to me, 2,000 or so of you. And a lot of people thought I was just going to be a rager, a guy that screamed and yelled every time the Clippers lost and kept it real, but reacted with emotion. And after we broke the curse last year and Terrence Mann did his Terrence Mann thing, and in 2 days, it'll be the 1-year anniversary of that, which ended up being the second best day of my life. That was something I dreamt about as a kid for so many years. And it's crazy. It sounds so corny and pathetic that it's the second round, but that's how hard it felt to make it out of the second round. Like I just didn't think it was going to happen for so long. I was like, it just seems like it's not meant to be. You know how many times I had to go to school? People say we're never going to make it out of the second round. And I saw the conference finals virgin memes and the, son, we're Clipper fans. They don't know what the second round is. And it had gotten to a point where I just couldn't take it anymore. And when we got that done and for me to be there and for it to be the first sold out house, it meant so much to me. It meant so fucking much. And I can't wait till we win a championship. I'm so happy I'm doing this shit and documenting it. I'll have the receipts for every mistake and bad take I have, every good take I have. And I love doing it. And I love that to all the people that support night in, night out, you already know who you are. I can't say enough. I promise you I'll repay you one day. I promise. We're going to get places. I care too much about this shit to not. I'm going to keep pushing. Even though this season, as I said, the view count was down. It was hard to get people. I had to, all the people that commented on the algorithms after the video and did that for me just to make sure we don't plummet. Keep it at a couple hundred views every video. I really appreciate it, man. It wasn't the best season for the Clippers. It was still super fun. I got to go to so many games. The vlogs became so much bigger. It was fun talking about the Lakers. But the reason why I brought up the raging thing is because I think this season we separated the people that just saw me as a rager to the people that actually cared about my basketball analysis, that actually cared what I had to say, that, respected my opinion and my knowledge and the work I put in and my experiences playing the game my whole life, and care what I have to say, even when it's not about the Clippers and the Lakers. I got 23 people in here right now, and when I wake up tomorrow, I'll see 100 people watch the video. And those people are not here because it's the Clippers and the Lakers. Those people are here because they care about my analysis or just want to show support for my video. And that means more to me than anything. And the goal is to get millions of you guys and people that are, interested to see what I have to say. And there's a lot of great basketball minds out there, man. There's a lot of great basketball minds that you guys can listen to. A lot of people that have much more experience than me, that played at higher levels than me, but you choose to give me the time, your clicks to listen to me. So I promise you I won't let you guys down. We're part of something special. The journey of the history of basketball that will continue this summer. We're going to do something called Time Machine Tuesdays, where I'm going to try to do a Time Machine video every Tuesday. And God damn it, we're going to make progress this summer. I know all you guys are waiting for the 80s, for the 90s, for all this stuff, for all these players that you hear so much about. But man, it's coming. We're going to get through these 70s and enjoy the 70s. Enjoy everything, because no one else is doing this. And my goal is to try to showcase these players, even though I'm choosing the clips, but I'm providing you with the full link to the games as well. I'm showing you these players because when I hear these, there's going to be a lot of Steph Curry all-time tweets tonight. There's going to be a lot. And a lot of arguments in those comments. And in those comments, people are not doing this. People are not trying to open up their minds. So what I'm trying to do is let you guys decide by watching the film, contextualized, broken down, and you make your decision. And that's what I'm trying to do for you guys here, and also do for myself. So you're going to see a lot of that this summer, and then some more guests. Definitely going to try to get more people involved. Obviously, Spencer Garrett coming up. Thank God I got reminded of that. If you guys have not seen my snippet with Spencer Garrett from HBO's Winning Time, he played Chick Hearn in the show. Please go check that out. It's on the YouTube channel. Leave a like and a comment. See what you think. If you haven't watched Winning Time, go watch it. It's ridiculously entertaining, especially if you want to know more about basketball history and especially if you're a Laker fan or just like basketball. But go check it out. Please check out that video. The full version is coming now on Saturday. Since the finals ended tonight, the full version is coming out on Saturday. Please show love. He's the biggest guest we've had thus far. He's got 10,000 followers on Twitter. He's been in many movies. He was in Star Trek. He was in a Transformers movie, and he was really generous to give us his time. He was also a Laker fan, so he was living a dream doing Chick Hearn. So please check that out on Saturday. Leave a like, a comment. Watch it as soon as you can. I want to know what you guys think. It's our biggest guest thus far, Dime Dropper featuring episode 2. Featuring is when we have an official guest that has either ties to the NBA or WNBA or NCAA. And in this case, playing a part of the best broadcaster of all time. So there'll be more Dime Dropper featuring this summer. I can promise you that. Hopefully we'll finally get our first NBA player. Fingers crossed. We'll see. But everybody, from the bottom of my heart, thank you. Make sure to leave a review on Apple Podcasts what you enjoyed this season. Season 2 in the books. Love you guys. Down Trooper fam, you are the greatest in the world. And we'll be back for season 3. Off-season podcast. Obviously, if free agency moves happens, I will do some pods on those as well. As far as Dime Trooper Time Machine, that is only for the YouTube channel, not for the podcast. So podcast will be a little bit on the down low this summer. It's either going to be guests or, talking about free agency moves. Appreciate everybody. Signing off from Los Angeles and going on to our live subscribers, waiting so patiently in the chat. Peace. I'm thinking of making a video of the season, like best Dime Dropper moments. Would you guys watch that if it was a video of the best Dime Dropper moments, whether it was vlogs or lives, in like a little compilation, like 8 minutes, 7 minutes? Let's read the comments. Very disappointed we didn't get a game 7. Yeah, me too, man. I was. We did it. Congrats, Kyle Dominic. I appreciate you, man. Congratulations. Dime, my prediction for opening night next season will be Nets at Celtics and Clippers at Warriors. Nets at Celtics and Clippers at Warriors. Okay, I like that. 17-17. I mean, Laker fans are hyped tonight. The score is tied still. We live. Yes, sir, Pasha, man. Cameron Aselli, my guy, Clippers 2023 champs. Yes, manifest it. Speak it into existence. Who was your pick to win it all before the season started? I didn't make a pick to win it all before the season started. I never really do that because so much can change. But I think I went with the Bucks, I guess. Repeating. What's up, Kevin? Thank you so much for all the love recently, Kevin. I noticed you, bro. Appreciate you. Kyle says we here for the last live. Yep, that's right. Wasn't on the previous lives because friends came over to watch the finals. Nice, but we back. Raid, what's up? Says Lakers are still the best franchise in NBA history. I do agree with that. Jordan Francis says, hey, Dime, you should watch Mark Phillips after that Celtics game on Twitter. He's a funny guy, for sure. Right? Says, feels like yesterday I saw Steph drop 54 against the Knicks and MSG, and now he's a 4-time champ. Just incredible. Yeah, I remember watching him in the 2010 three-point shootout and just being like, I like this kid, you know? That's not the first I'd heard of him, but it's funny. I remember my friend Asher that was with me today that's been on the podcast. He told me before he came in the league, he said, Steph Curry from Davidson. He's the dark horse in this draft. Talk about aged well. I'll never forget those comments. And I remember where he was, like standing where he was when he said that. So that was unbelievable. Steph Curry has solidified himself as one of only 11 to 12 players in NBA history that has a legit case to be a top 10 player ever. I agree with that, Raid. My boy Hoops History, what's up, man? Congratulations to you. Says I don't even have words to describe how I feel. LOL. Been following this team so closely this season. Steph is just something else, man. It's truly a pleasure to watch him play. KB Magic says Celtics are dummies. Always bringing in the man. Always so mad. Kevin, I feel like you ever happy, my boy KB? Kyle's take, only when the Lakers lose. Kyle's take says Steph is number 2 behind Magic. I think it's undisputed now. I think you said that in the preview of Golden State wins will be number 2. Yeah, I kind of stand by that. But Dime, is Steph top 10 in your opinion? No. Sorry. You can make a case, but not for me. Ty Baller says the defensive player of the year couldn't hold a candle to Curry for most of the series, it seems. Yeah, facts. Kyle Steak says, and is this our last chip in your opinion? I hope it is, but man, I don't know. I would never count you guys out anymore. Ty Baller says Jason Tatum looked like Jalen's number 2 for most of the series. I wouldn't say that because Wiggins is guarding Tatum most of the time. You know what I'm saying? If he was the number 2, then Wiggins wouldn't be guarding him. Kyle's take says, yeah, the defense that shut down KD and bothered Giannis and Jimmy Bit could not stop Steph. Slightly different schemes, but that is right. They went to that drop coverage, which they wanted to limit everyone else. I think they saw the damage that they did in other series. Kyle Dominic Hughes says, I knew that the longer the series goes, it's going to favor Golden State because of Boston's shorter rotation. Yeah. Hoops History says Tatum needs to work on his finishing. It was insane. I mean, he's been needing to work on his finishing for years. It's gotten better every year, but still not enough. It was insane how uncomfortable he was, and I think it's a product of this generation's foul-baiting tendencies, and it'll work that way on this stage. Yeah, I also think players used to be better at finishing around the rim, except maybe the guards, the smaller guards, because they're scoring guards now. Says Tatum needs a mid-range or post-game very badly. Yeah, it's just you see glimpses of it, but it's not enough. W second scenes for Dime Dropper. Hey, man, I appreciate y'all. And also, I think my content's actually gotten a lot better this season. Way more vlogs. Like, the lighting is so much better. I'm doing it on an HD camera and a streaming service, not just off my freaking computer webcam and with a lamp behind me and my backlighting your guys' face. Remember that? So I think my content's actually gotten a lot better. And I think I've gotten better at this, but it was less views this season. But there was still some videos that were W's. I hope this video gets a lot of views. But Hoops History says Brown needs to work on his fucking handles because he got that mentality to be a killer. I agree with that. Kyle Dominic Hughes says, how can Boston solve this true point guard issue? They just got to be smarter with the basketball. Every team keeps saying that. The Clipper fans keep saying that. Like, there's not that many that exist, guys, and it's different. It's a different game now. You don't pass it to ISO players anymore like that. You got to try to get – you got to get something off the bounce. KP, congrats to your boy, man, and congrats to you, Steph fan. Let's go, Dime. Because they can't just move off smart, says Kyle. Nat092 says Jason Tatum need to cut threes and stay to his strengths. Mid-range game, post-game, and pull-ups. Too many games just chucking up threes. He hasn't made those enough of his strengths yet, in my opinion, though, Nat. Ty Baller says, I honestly think the starters hurt this team just as much, if not with the inconsistent. Hold on a second. Joseph, bro, get on YouTube, man. You're calling me in the middle of a live. You're on camera right now on the phone. Get on the live. All right. Honestly, I think the starters hurt this team just as much, if not more, with the inconsistent offensive production from some of the guys. Right, Chowdhury says Andrew Wiggins is an NBA champion. Yeah, it's crazy to say that. Kyle says, shout out to Otto Porter consistently answering back when Al kept hitting threes. Facts. Right said, did not expect Tatum to play so poorly this series after how great he was against KD, Giannis, and Jimmy. Facts. Credit to the Warrior defense. Wiggins really did everything, huh? This playoffs. He played great defense on Luka, Tatum, everyone. Nato92 says, yeah, he said the same comment. Ty Baller says it's crazy because in 2019, the criticism was more towards him needing to stop shooting so many fadeaways and contested middies. It seems he took that to heart and he erased a lot of it from his game to a hurtful degree. I agree with that. Nat092 says JT mechanics and ball handling never looks fluid, very clunky at times. Both Jaylen Brown and him. Kyle's take says the bad habits that Boston had throughout this playoffs in Milwaukee and Miami finally killed them against Golden State. What do I always say? All your flaws come out in the playoffs. Ty Baller says, can't even get mad at Warriors winning, though. They got their guys, and their guys came through in the closeout game. Ray Chowdhury says, congrats on another season of Dime Dropper, Darian. Excited for what you have in store this offseason, man. Thanks, guys. Offseason is very important, guys. I need you. I need you to keep the algorithms alive this offseason, watching the content. If you guys are really into that stuff, man, learn the history of the game. It's big. I'm really going to put in work at this shit. And I think the timeline of basketball is an interesting concept for people that don't want to watch full games. I know a lot of you guys don't, and that's understandable. But, man, check them out. The guests I'm going to have are good. Either going to be in either really good fans that know a ton, that know more than me, or know a lot about certain teams, or that or that know history, or that are involved in the NCAA or NBA or something in some capacity. So make sure you stay tuned, man, and keep liking, keep commenting. We want to hear from you. Don't just come for the free agency videos or the trades. I think it's extreme. Ty Baller says, I think it's extremely fair to say him and Jimmy are at the same level, if not that. Yeah, I agree with that. NV, my boy, says, let's go dive. Fuck the Celtics. He's a Laker fan. Kyle Dominic Yu says, if every champion has an asterisk, what's the asterisk for Golden State? If there is any, it's probably smaller than normal. I guess Ja got hurt, and the West wasn't as good this year. To reach this year. I don't think there is, but others have different opinions. Jordan Francis says the Golden State Warriors now have seven titles. 1946, not 1957, 1956. 1957 is Bill Russell's rookie year where Big Bill won the championship. 75, 2014, 2017, 2018, 2022. Yes. Rahi Chowdhury says, Kyle, you can make an excuse for every NBA championship. At the end of the day, a ring is a ring. Ty Baller says if they have any asterisks they can try to pull out of their ass, it's going to be injuries again. Nets, Bucks, Nuggets, Clippers. What injuries the Nets have? Oh, Ben Simmons? They didn't even play them. Kyle says the Warriors have been winning the rebound battle for most of this playoffs. Otto was huge, especially in that third quarter, says Kyle's takes. Edgar Rose says, congrats to the Warriors. Didn't matter to me who won. Great series overall. Jordan Francis says, massive W for the second season Dime Dropper. Thanks, man. Kyle said, I didn't want a game 7. Still traumatized from 2016, so we needed to end it today. Facts. Darian, thoughts on Iguodala saying that Steph has solidified himself as the best point guard ever? What is next? Goatford, Al Horford. Looks like Daddy Derek got fathered. Oh, my God. Edgar Rose says White, Grant Williams, Pritchard, and Tatum pulled no-shows tonight. Ty Baller says Smart getting his depoy card revoked. LMAO. Yeah. Really? No, I wouldn't say that. Kyle says, bro, I saw Al on Curry so many times, and I remember Curry playing good defense on Al and Jason. Right says Tatum will bounce back. Rob says Clippers suck. Rents do. Edgar Rose says Tatum's still a great player, just a horrible finals. Right said, darn, I think the Celtics need a better playmaker. Marcus Smart can't be their primary ball handler and playmaker. I don't think his IQ is high enough. That's fair. Who would you bring in? Malcolm Brogdon? Ty Baller says Tatum just needs to perform better at the biggest stage. He played 3 great series before this one. I mean, it's 24-year-old. He's going to learn. Ed Rose says Celtics lost this series when they couldn't steal game 4. Yeah, it's true. They wouldn't go up 3-1. It would change everything. That's the game we got to look at. Kyle's take says, man, all those guys in ESPN holding this in their eye when it came to Steph winning another ring. Get out of here with that. Really? And Monica McNutt from ESPN said the title window was closed when we got blown out by Memphis in game 5. Jeez. Curry joins guys like MJ, Kobe, and Timmy in winning 4+ rings with the team that drafted him. Hey, don't forget Magic, but yes. I wonder how this Warriors team would do against Bill Russell's Celtics. Okay, the game's too different, man. 60 years. They don't even dribble the same. Kyle says Andrew Wiggins was supposed to be a bust to becoming a second-best player on a championship team. Facts. Ty Baller says, that makes me think of how little amount of teams got to celebrate a championship on the Celtics home floor. That's facts. Ray Chattery says, Tim Manu and Duncan or Steph Clancy? Right. Tim Manu and you mean Tim Manu and Tony? Tim Manu and Tony, yeah. There you go. Whose history says if Wiseman is playoff playable next season, it's going to be scary hours. That's another crazy thing I didn't even mention. Damn. Wiseman didn't even play. Their second pick that they basically tanked for didn't even play. That was unreal. I guess to celebrate on the Celtics home floor, you have to have an all-time point guard. That's right. Jordan Francis, his words used to be good in the 50s, 60s, 70s, and the mid-2010s. Well, yes. Kyle's take says GP2 was huge today, too, on defense. Edgar Rosa, stop the poverty shit to name teams that don't win. They're worth billions. I don't know how that's poverty, my boy. Huh? GP2 got a ring to match his father. Hoops History says that stat line's going to look so much worse in the future if you didn't watch the series. LOL, poor Tatum. Ty Baller says father-son champions. Yes, sir. Was it his last season or did he play in 07, Edgar O? Gary Payton in 06. He didn't win in 06, but I don't know if he played in 07. Kyle Dominic Hughes says Clay played good defense today. I know it ain't game 6 Clay, but at least he did not sell. At least it was not like game 2 versus Memphis. Edgar O says Ty. Okay, I couldn't remember if he came back for another year. Yeah. Clay Thompson, because he brings the D. Kyle Dominic Hughes says this was the sweetest chip out of the 4. Yeah, you saw Steph's tears, man. It meant a lot. It was a chip we won when everyone was constantly saying we were done. Right, so this makes KD look so bad. It really does. Yes, there we go. Almost forgot. Wait, Peyton did come back for game 7. True all-time list is subjective. Kyle Dominic Hughes says, man, feels great for Gary Payton II, getting injured and then coming back in time to contribute the most for he can for a ring. Nat092 says, I guess you can say for as much as they compare Tatum to Kobe, this is his 2004 Pistons bad finals outing. You can say that. Edgar Rose says, Kyle, the Warriors had to go through the growing pains after Durant. New players and injuries took them out for that time being. It happens in sports. Congrats, though, coming from a Clips fan. Kyle Dominic Hughes says it'll feel sweeter when we watch those 2 painful years before this year. Yeah, 15 games 2 years ago. It's crazy. Kyle Dominic Hughes says we're going to have some great battles next season, Dime. We'll see. Ty Baller says, it honestly don't feel like the season just ended. Wow. Yes, I'm going to get used to having some free time, not as many obligations. I'm excited for that. It's a draft, bro. I've made it like a full-time job of mine. Like, it's crazy. Like, fuck. I'm burned out, man. I'm burned out after every season. Kyle Dominic Hughes says, Dime, as the season comes to a close, try to recap your W takes and L takes this season or this playoffs. Some W takes you feel proud of, or L, you feel like the fool. I mean, I had the Celtics right in every round up until the finals. Actually, no, I had the Celtics right in every round. They won all the series that I said they would win, and then they lost. I did say Celtics in 7 against the Bucks. I got the Warriors, all their series basically right. But I was dead wrong on the Lakers. Way dead wrong. And I was way dead wrong on the Warriors. Raid said, you're getting me emotional. I appreciate you. Edgar says, all good, Dime. You showed your passion. I used to get angry myself when the Clippers were really bad in the 90s and 2000s, but I got older and realized I was tripping big time. Ty Baller says, this season was the 2016 vibe for the Dime Dropper podcast. One historical year filled with great moments. What made it so historical? Kyle Dominic Hughes says, big support, bro. You ain't a rager. You're a guy who cares so much about the game and your team. Much respect, because I feel like that sometimes too, especially being bored here at home. Thanks, man. I really appreciate you, dude. Spencer said, what's up, Dime? It's Spen. We up next. Yes, sir. Spino says, Clippers 2023. Yes. Everybody's saying, always going to be Dime Dropper fam. Yes, sir. Love you guys, man. Facts. The most awaited Dime Dropper episode will be the Chris Paul interview. Oh, my God. That'd be dope. Ty Baller says, also, anyone who can admit they're wrong is to be respected. So very responsible to not just disregard the takes were wrong and act like they didn't happen. W for acknowledging those, trying to do the same. It's always okay to admit you're wrong. Can't wait, fam. Yes, sir. Is Stephen Curry the greatest shooter God ever created? Asked Phoenix Plays Z. I think he is. Kyle says, Dime, who are players maybe currently who you wishing to interview soon? No spoilers. Ty Baller says, without a doubt. Phoenix says, is Steph Curry the most lethal offensive weapon this game has ever seen in terms of the stuff he can do on and off ball? I'd say Magic Johnson, but Steph's right. He's in that conversation. Yeah, for sure. Your boy says I'm a Laker fan, but I'm not hyped. Phoenix Plays E says, now the season is over, I can say the road to chip number 2 begins. For the Raptors, Spence says, yeah, we need the Dime Drop rant of the 2022 season. We didn't do anything. I already did that rant. And check out the video on when we lost the playing game. Kyle says, thanks so much, Dime, for a great season of recaps. Usually here after games all season. Yes, sir, you have been. I noticed you, man. You already know. I'm going to repay you guys one day, as I said. Ty Baller says, Scotty going to be a champ someday. Kyle Dominic Hughes says, the first I've heard of Steph was when I saw him, Dre, and Dubs coming to Miami and beat the Big Three Heat in a regular season game. Yeah, I remember that. I remember that very game. Spencer says, Marcus Smart game 4 collapse was GG's for Boston. Ty Baller says, I remember Curry first from 2K11. Not going to lie. That's funny. Phoenix Plays E says, I think the offseason and looking forward to the next season more exciting for me than the finals that were mid this year. Yeah, it ended up being kind of a disappointing finals. No games in single digits. Your boy says Clippers will get to the Western Conference Finals and they'll have an injury. Jesus Christ, man. Rate the NBA's 75th season. I think it was the best season in a couple of years. The rule changes were good. I enjoyed it. OG Act, man. Lakers were struggling, and I wasn't in here as much this year. Still love your channel that you do, bro. We missed you, OG Act, man. We missed you, man. Come on. Need you next year. Next year's going to be the Clippers title run, so you guys have to be here from the beginning and watch everything, guys. Come on. It's going to be historic to follow me on that journey. Come on. Phoenix Plays, he says, Jason Tatum's an over-glorified Paul George with a James Harden shot diet. Okay, come on, man. Let's stop with that. I was mad that Pritchard didn't play more, says Spencer. OG Assman says, Clippers need a point. Celtics need a point guard, or Smart their point guard not is he good enough? Exactly. LOL. Edgar O says, your boy, I don't wish that on the Clippers because it could happen to your Lakers. I wouldn't want that to happen. Joseph Kaku says, can I go to Games? Really? $50? Damn, June 28th, July, man. Hey, I really appreciate you, bro. All season long, you've been shooting some money, man. I really appreciate it. I always say super chats are turned on. I don't get money for this like that. I try my best. I treat it like a full-time job. That means so much to me, man. I really appreciate it. Like, but in the bottom of my heart, like, it makes it all worth it. Like, for real. It makes it really all worth it. And I'm appreciating you guys are always here with me, supporting. Even when it's, imagine these recaps when the Clippers are going to be involved. Like, that's going to be a different level. So, we need those. The view count's going to go nuts. But I appreciate you guys that are here, even when it's not. Those people I appreciate the most are the ones that are here, even when it's not Clippers. Did you have to? My take on the Christian Wood trade is it's going to help them a lot offensively. I think. I don't think it's the second guy to win a championship though necessarily, but it'll help them. They'll probably get a higher seed in the regular season. But defense, I don't know his defense, so I'm interested to see. Belugo 6 says, first time I heard of Steph Curry, people were trying to compare him to Tyreek Evans. That's a weird comp. Oh my God. Joseph says, Gary in. Way. You're funny. Phoenix Plays, he says, that fraud, Jason Tatum. Okay, come on, man. You got to stop hating. Tatum really played like Kobe? What? Tabas says, I still can't believe NBA is going to be gone for a few months. Okay, come on, man. Act like you've been here before. Really feel like the season hasn't lasted for more than 3 months. Okay, speak for yourself. What's up, Angel? What's going on, my guy? What's up, Dime? Been a while since I've been able to hop into live. It's really good to see you, bro. Ty says, I was dead wrong on the Warriors, Suns, and Bucks, I thought. Everybody's wrong on the Suns, yeah. Kyle says, yeah, the Bucks are understandable. Nobody predicted injuries. Ty Baller says, never going to forget the playoff live chats near the end of season ones. Those are some historical live moments. Appreciate you, man. They were some good ones. Angel says, can't wait to watch Kawhi ball again. Been too long. Facts. That guy Spencer says, does Steph top KD? I think he does. Absolutely. Ty Baller says, Suns fraudulent. I will never trust them again. Facts. Kyle says, I think Steph was higher than KD even before this trip. I agree with that as well. Ty says, room for the Clippers to break their finals virginity next season. Facts. Right says, Steph and KD aren't even in the same convo anymore. Steph's in another league now. I agree. Kyle says, we're going to get lost in the crowd next year. Stop. Spence says, all day ripping LAC Dime Dropper Nation. You already know. Wish we had the World Cup to look forward to in the summer. Phoenix Plays, he says, Kawhi Leonard and Paul George will be in the finals next year. Clippers versus Bucks in the finals. I'm calling it now. All right, everybody. Peace out. Have a great night. Love you guys. Last live of the season. From the bottom of my heart, appreciate you. Go check out the Spencer Garrett video, please. This is a snippet, 5 minutes. Check out the full version. It's coming on Saturday. It's going to be big. It's my biggest guest thus far, so please show love. Even if you don't want to watch the video and you haven't seen the show, just check it out. and comment on it. And yeah, keep showing love, keep commenting. Don't leave me this summer, guys, because I'm gonna be here. I'm not going anywhere. I'm gonna still do some lives here and there, but not as much, obviously. So stay tuned. Also, Instagram. I'm doing some Instagram lives. So follow me on Instagram at DimeDropperPod. I'm gonna post a lot more content on there, and TikTok if you have that. I'm gonna be posting a lot more content on those apps this summer. So please follow me on there. It's gonna be a good summer. We're gonna get into the history of the game. You guys are gonna learn a lot if you want to learn a lot. So stay tuned. Notification bell. Turn that shit on to find out what all my videos are. Time Machine Tuesdays. The Spencer Garrett video on Saturday. And yeah, guests coming all summer. So appreciate you. And make sure to comment on this video for the algorithms. Make sure to like and comment on this video when it's over for the algorithms. So we get at least 1,000 end the season, right? Peace. Love you guys.